Some of the Arab Muslims might not take much interest in following the ongoing war between India and Pakistan. First, they say that we are far from this region. Geography and the ruins of Mecca are no longer significant in the Arab region. And secondly, we ignore them historically, meaning there is no major historical intersection between any Arab country and Pakistan or India. They have always been separate events in history. In Asia, about events in the Middle East or in Africa. There is also a third thing that they say, that these countries are not Arab, as they do not have the links that exist between Arab countries. The fourth need is that the Arabs are busy with 10,000 problems. We have problems in Gaza, an ongoing war, meaning a year and a half so far, and it is still ongoing. We have problems in Sudan, problems in Yemen, problems in Syria, problems in Libya, meaning in more than one hot area of the Arab regions, and therefore we are busy with the latest news, far from events. India, Pakistan, or any other Muslim place in the world. The truth is that this is something painful and lacking in vision. Interest in the India-Pakistan war, I see it as one of the necessities, at least, to know what things are and what their backgrounds are and what for anything you can say. The thing that connects us with these Pakistanis and the Kashmiris and other Muslims in the world is a matter of faith, and I'm supposed to feel. I should feel incredibly deep pain if they experience suffering, harm, or distress in any manner. We are supposed to be somewhat affected by the events that are happening there, and we raise our hands to the Lord of the age, and glory be to Him, to grant victory to our brothers and people in Pakistan, Kashmir, and in every Islamic place in the entire world. The second point is that there are global effects that will affect the entire world, including the impact on the Arab countries. We are not far from the event. The event now is the world with the globalization that exists in it, and the mutual effects that exist between almost every country in the world with other countries. Effects will occur. Effects as a result of rising oil prices. As a result of this war, the effects of global trade will be affected by disruptions in supply chains. It will also affect the Arab countries and the countries of the entire world. But the third important need, for which I want to devote part of an important episode, which is that the India-Pakistan war has a direct impact on the Arab countries, or on some Arab countries, especially the Arab Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia. This impact is multifaceted. Aspects first. Indo-Pakistani labor is a major force in the Gulf economy. We are talking about 9,000 Indians present in the Arabian Gulf, distributed among the various Arab Gulf countries. The Emirates has 300,000 and 500,000 Indians. Imagine the Emirates has a small population, but it has 300,000 and 500,000 Indians who work. Saudi Arabia has 200,000 and 500,000 Indians, and 200,000 and 500,000 Indians in Saudi Arabia, which means 7% of the existing people. Indians took up various occupations. Kuwait has 1,000 Hindi. Oman 780,000, Qatar 760,000, Bahrain 330,000 Indians, all of whom are Indians, and Turkestans in the region in the Gulf 3,000. So we are talking about 12,000 of the two countries that have a state war. If there is a defect in these ratios, people of them who return as a result of the war will see their families and see their conditions as recruits. Anything. There will remain a very, very great turmoil in the Gulf economy, and there will be a delay in the major development projects that exist in these regions because it is a very important and very large labor supply. The second point is financial transfers. The people of India and Pakistan are workers. All the time they transfer money to their families in Pakistan and India. Indian remittance funds from the Arab Gulf states amounted to $89,000 per year. This represents 65% of the total Indian remittances from abroad. I mean, see how important the issue is for India. Pakistan's remittances in 1 month remain at $3,000 to $1,000. December 2024, trying $3,000 per month. I ransom very large numbers. If there is a defect in this transfer, whether by increase or decrease, it means there may remain an increase. It is possible that the general atmosphere, if I sell more money to my family because of their need in the war there, or it may be less because I'm afraid that something will happen in light of this war. The increase or decrease of the money will happen. Suddenly, in this issue may affect currency prices and cause problems in the financial markets and stock exchanges in the Arabian Gulf, which may affect the economy significantly. The third point is oil prices. Oil prices will change due to the war between India and Brazil, igniting further consequences. In the beginning, there is an increase in oil prices, which is the result of the tension in the Middle East. Now, oil has already risen by 10% per hour and may continue to rise more than that when problems occur in India and Pakistan and continue in the first place. In the short term, it will be beneficial to the Gulf countries. Oil, of course, the revenues will remain more, so it will be beneficial. But in the medium and long term, it will be a problem because this affects economies. Different countries, this war affects the economies of importing countries, thus reducing demand. The future may be negatively affected by the Gulf oil exporting countries. The fourth point is disruptions in supply chains. It is a very dangerous thing. The world is in very, very important sea lanes, India and Pakistan. Their war will affect the Indian Ocean corridor. For the Gulf, this is the backbone of life. This means it's oil exports and foreign trade, trade with China, trade with Japan, all across the Indian Ocean. Any impact in this area is possible. It affects the generation change that affect the Arab countries in this region. Also, the fifth point is that in many Arab countries that are dependent on imports and exports from India and Pakistan, especially India, there will also be impacts as a result of this. The events may affect the economy in Arab countries, India beyond its presence in the Arab world. Gulf. This issue of employment, the sixth point, remains a very important point. India is not only that. India has a very influential contribution to Gulf investments. Huge companies from India are operating in the Arabian Gulf. We have in the UAE alone 83,000 Indian companies or more through this number. And how many companies are already present in the country? 83,000 Indian companies. You work in the Emirates with us in Bahrain. 7,500 companies in Qatar, 6,000 companies in Oman, 6,000 all Indian companies, Kuwait, 4,000. Saudi companies have about 400 companies or more than 400 companies. These companies work in retail sectors, they work in pharmaceutical sectors, technology sectors, real estate sectors, education, tourism, very, very many things that are very influential. Any disruption in relations with India and Pakistan could greatly influence the economic movement within the country. The seventh point is also the mission of the dangerous economic corridor that China has created from China to Pakistan, which they call the Belt and Road Initiative, an alternative to the ancient Hariri Road. This road starts from Changyang in China, in western China, Turkey and East Turkestan, meaning it reaches the port of Gwadar in Pakistan. This road will be affected by the war, and its impact by the war will affect the Gulf states because the Gulf states have ambitions. This land road has an opportunity. To transport goods from China, of course, the world's largest supplier of goods to the Arab Gulf countries via land, and thus this reduces the cost and reduces the time in which the goods can arrive and makes a very, very difference with the Arab world. If this route is affected by war, it may remain in problem. The last thing is that the existence of a war in the entire region creates tension, regional tension, and the tension does not only remain on the borders of Pakistan. This is spreading tension in the entire region, and therefore this affects the investment environment in general for major international companies. Multinational that opens branches everywhere. You will move away from the area where these tensions are and see alternative markets for it in places that are quieter to maintain continuity in the economic project. All of these things make us ask God Almighty if He will send this kind of thing. The calm and restraint between countries available between India and Pakistan, because the whole truth is a loss. A war between India and Pakistan would result in losses for both and devastation for surrounding countries with no victors. Such matters accept, O God, the arms markets, the people who sell weapons in such an atmosphere and these circumstances. All this talk is far from nuclear escalation. If nuclear escalation occurs, the equation will be completely different, and the destruction, instead of being at the level of several countries, it will be at the level of the whole world. The effects will remain very negative. Can we continue to impose a link on this topic due to its importance? We ask God Almighty for the safety and well-being of Muslims everywhere. May God reward you well, peace, mercy and blessings of God.